Yeah, first of all, shout out to Travis for being conscious enough to understand how serious and how important of a life-changing moment baptism is, and to be able to do it on the Lord's day, I think is so good. It's actually speaks towards the scriptures, and Luke 14:33 says, "If you love good things more than me, you cannot be my disciple." Football is a good thing. It's a great thing. It's a way to provide for your family. It's a way to have a platform and use what God has given you. If you idolize football and you only stick to that and say this is the most important thing, yeah, then the church thing or the faith thing comes afterwards. You're putting that before God. And as there's so many scriptures, Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. And there's so many, like, God will not be second. He will not, he will remove himself, not his presence, but his he will just kind of step back and say, until you're ready and you choose me first, I will never play second fiddle to anything or anybody. So, and we often do that. We live in this world with materialism, and we live in this world that a lot of things is like what you see is what's most important. But faith is, you got to have the substance of things that aren't seen, right? And the evidence of, I mean, the faith, the substance of things hope for, and the evidence of things not seen. So it's not about the temporal and what you see. And he had the consciousness enough and the faithfulness enough. And shout out to Tim Timberlake too, who's a friend of mine, a great pastor out there on the East Coast, who's been pouring into these young men's lives in a way that has allowed them to see that life is bigger than the game, and that your faith and the free gift of salvation is the most important thing. It's the most valuable thing that you could be given and receive from God. So shout out to Travis Hunter for doing that, as well as Tim Timberlake. And when it comes to Skip's take, it's just a shallow take. It's kind of clickbaitish. Where to me, people always want to put pro athletes in a box because it helps them to understand who that person is. Because I don't know him personally, I just know what he does. So if I can put him in a box and say, oh, he's not focused because he can do, like, on game day, yeah, I can focus on the game and prepare mentally and do all this thing, and still understand my spiritual life and be mature enough to understand spiritually, like, this is the Lord's day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Right? Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Like, if God did not make this day, I would not be here. He'd woke me up in the morning. Every breath I take is because of the breath that God has placed in my lungs. So it's kind of I get it from his standpoint. Like, his job is to try to say things and say controversial things and stuff like that. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. And this is the case where you're dead wrong. So yeah, it's just something that his opinion is something that, if you're a player, you definitely take that with a grain of salt, because you don't know my mentality, you don't know what I'm thinking, you don't know my preparation for the game, you don't know any of those things. And clearly, the way he played this past week was no indication that he's removed himself from the team and that he's not interested and that football is not the main thing for him. Like, people, like I said earlier, they want to put you in a box, but there's so much more. As what's the saying? They say, I'm more than an athlete. I forget who coined that, but there can be both. There can be both, and you can do both. And just like, if you were interested in the tech space and you're an athlete, now, yeah, it's probably not the best thing to do during the season is to go to a tech conference or something like that. But he didn't skip the game. You know what I mean? He wanted to renew his life, as Travis said when he was asked about it. It's like, I've given up the old, and now I'm pressing forward towards what is new. He's a young man. There's within. I mean, that's even why the whole reason I wrote the book, Stay in the Game, because of the temptation that's out there, the notoriety, and the subtleness of pride that can creep in and cause you to be what God has not called you to be. And so it's such a good thing that he has people in his life, or surrounded by people like Tim Timberlake, to pour into him, to know that spiritually he can mature so much that he can play ball and understand God's purpose for his life at the same time.